Why are mountain bikes so expensive? Are they too expensive? Is the bike industry headed for a rude awakening? FC here from E-MTBR, and in the past 30 years in the bike industry, I can't tell you how many times I've heard, hey, that bicycle costs more than my motorcycle. And that statement is still resonating today more than ever, especially with this market correction, this bike industry correction that we're experiencing right now. So in this video, I'm going to give you what I think are the reasons why mountain bikes are so expensive. I'm going to do the comparison with a motorcycle, and you'll be surprised at the contrast. Also, number one reason why they're expensive, I think, is going to surprise the heck out of you. It has something to do with supply and demand. And I'm going to ask the question, is the bike industry ready for a market correction or a rude awakening? All right, so the first question is, are mountain bikes too expensive? And the answer is, according to surveys, yes. 90% think yes. And those are enthusiasts, friends of mine, people in the bike industry. They're like, yeah. Because you see all these, the lucrative bikes, the ones you want to have are over $10,000. They're affordable ones. And the pundits say, hey, $3,000, you get a lot more than you used to get 10, 15 years ago, of course. But nobody wants those. So there's some that think that they're not too expensive, but for the most part, yes, they think they're expensive. And the ones that are not enthusiasts, not in the bike industry, hey, I want to just get started riding. How much? $5,000? They're just shocked. So definitely there's something there. We are just kind of in an alternate dimension. It's, $7,000 for a good enthusiast bike, and just it goes up from there. That's saying a lot. That's asking a lot. Okay, so first we're going to do the classic comparison between a motorcycle and a typical mountain bike. So the motorcycle everyone uses is the KTM Duke 390 from Austria, made in India. There's two, and the mountain bike is the Santa Cruz Blur. And there, in the terms of components, there's 2,348 components on the KTM Duke motorcycle, and in the Santa Cruz Blur, there's about 1,000 components. The price of the KTM Duke is $6,000 retail, and then the Blur is $6,500 to $13,000. So 400 pounds and 25 pounds, but that's the difference. And then you start scratching your head, like, what is going on here? And now that we have e-bikes, the comparison is becoming more glaring, because now they both have motors, and one much less than others. So some of the differences are, first, in the motorcycles, it's a worldwide market versus kind of a local market for mountain bikes. You're just concerned about these hardcore enthusiasts, so you could price more. But in the motorcycle, the KTM, they have to sell to all these countries, higher volumes for sure. Some are being used as commuters, and they're not just fun toys that people play with. It's a much wider demographic, so you have to be more aggressive with pricing. Some argue the volume of bicycles is pretty big, but we're talking about mountain bikes here, enthusiast mountain bikes, and that volume is not that high compared to a motorcycle. The other reason is the motorcycle is on a stable platform. Some of these motorcycles have been around 10, 20 years. They're not changing that much, while the mountain bike just keeps changing every 2 years, and it costs a lot for R&D. Another reason is customization. On the motorcycle, you have one color, maybe two. Actually, I think just one. KTM just has orange, Kawasaki just has green, and so on. On the mountain bike, now they have many colors, and then they change every year. All that costs money. There's six sizes. On the motorcycle, one size. So all these options, they cost money. There's spec levels. There's like 10 spec levels for each one. So all these customization costs money. Also, on mountain bikes, these mountain bikes are closer to pro level. Mountain bikers think they gotta be pro. Be a hero, be a pro. Where a motorcycle, that thing is far from the $100,000, $1 million race motorcycle that they use. So we are kind of close to pro level, even though we don't need to be. Okay, and the other one is the target demographic. The target demographic for the motorcycle is, I don't want to typecast too much, but I think it's more the everyday people, the working man. They buy a $5,000 motorcycle and they make payments on it. Whereas on the mountain bike, the target market is the doctor, lawyer, dentist, tech worker, high zoot, and high fashion, high disposable income. Maybe too much, huh? And then there's also the margin. For some reason or another, as far as I could tell, the margin is higher on the mountain bike. So on the motorcycle, the manufacturer takes 15% and the dealer takes 15% on average. On the bicycle, mountain bike, the manufacturer takes 30% and then the dealer takes 30%, sometimes more. So that's a big explanation right there, huh? Where the high cost is coming. Okay, so that's the motorcycle comparison. What do you think? It's almost like different universes. Even when you have a component, you have the same. A classic one is you have a mountain bike glove, a very nice glove. It's in the mountain bike world, it's $80, but if you sell the same glove on the motorcycle shop, it's $40. It's just a different pricing structure. So companies like Liat, Troy Lee, where they have a motorcycle arm to it, it seems like the prices are much more reasonable, much more down to earth. Whereas you have companies in the mountain bike world like Kitsbo and Rafa, and they're like, yeah, $200 for a shirt. The other reasons why mountain bikes are more expensive is because it's not just a tool. We're not talking commuter bikes here. Commuter bikes are pretty darn reasonable. Couple grand, $1,000, maybe less. Mountain bikes are just up there. I think when you go from commuter tool into a toy, then you are entering a different world of budget, of desirability. People are more concerned with performance, with looking good. It's kind of a fashion statement. There's exotics. There's a lot of racing, a lot of marketing. We're getting pounded where you need the best, 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 and that's kind of the world we live in mountain bikes, and that drives the price up and drives demand up as well. There's tech R&D and engineering. There's a bit of engineering and tech required in mountain bikes, and especially with the advent of e-bikes. But looking at the traditional mountain bikes, there hasn't been a lot of change in the last 3 to 5 years, since they're still commanding those $10,000 prices. So definitely something is awry here. All right, there's another sign that the mountain bike market is overpriced, in that most of the workers, part of the cost structure of the mountain bike, are they getting paid? Are they getting rich? Are they making a lot of money? Most of them cannot afford, the high-end mountain bikes that they sell. They all ride one, but that's because of deep, deep industry discounts. So you basically get to ride the bike for free. You buy it at half price, and then you resell it, and then you just rotate it like that. And that's a big reason why people work in the bike industry, is so they can have the nice stuff. And there's also the used market where you can just flip your bike and kind of fund the new purchase that way. So there's a little economy there, a strange economy that's working to keep these prices inflated. Mind you, there are good options now. You could buy a $3,000 bike. No one's asking you to buy the 12 grand model. You could buy a $3,000 one, and it will suit you for 90%. Of course, full suspension is a bit expensive, but the lower price models, they're just not sexy. They're not being marketed. Why would the bike industry market those guys to give it to a reviewer for a video when they can sell the 10 grand model? So the whole game is schemed towards selling the expensive bike because you can. Why sell the 3 grand when you can sell the 10 grand? So that's what they do. One of the reasons why mountain bikes are so expensive, because we are chasing grams. We have been programmed to chase grams. And let me tell you, to save the last 2 pounds from your mountain bike, to get from 25 to 23, you have to spend about $2,000 or $5,000. And now we have e-bikes that have a motor, so the last 2 pounds means nothing. It's really meaningless. And you see companies are still doing that to us. They're still selling us this carbon frame, double carbon frame, carbon rims for an e-bike, and it really doesn't need to be. All we need is aluminum and really strong stuff, strong wheels, and a motor. That's best in class. That's very responsive. That's gonna, take care of this bike. So the e-bikes are really gonna put a monkey wrench, a correction, add to this correction of the pricing. All right, there's also components that drive up this price. I don't know what's going on here, but we have all these parts. Most of them can be found in these high-end bikes. We had these NV wheels for $3,000, and we were eating them up. These pedals, titanium, are $500 retail. We have a seat post like this by Fox and now by RockShox, $800. All right, we have shocks, $1,000. There's $1,200, $1,300. Push technology. We have tires. People are revolting against this stuff. Tires that are $100, more expensive than your car tires. So there's definitely components, high-end components that are going into these $10,000 bikes. That's really driving up the price. The number one reason why mountain bikes are so expensive is because we buy them. Supply and demand. As long as we keep buying these bikes, it's going to keep the price up. And now we're experiencing, are they getting a wake-up call? Are they ready for a rude awakening? I think now 2024 is a very interesting time because it is that correction that we haven't had in a long time. It's a correction of inventory. First, there was lack of inventory. Now there's over inventory. So everything is on sale. And people are being vocal about, see, you guys deserve what you get because you just gouged us. You just overpriced us out of the market. Now you can't sell that stuff. So I think we are experiencing a market correction. Some companies are going to go out of business. Component manufacturers are going to go out of business. And in people's expectations are going to get a little higher. Like I said, you guys are driving up the price by buying it. People are now refusing to buy. And the last 10, 20 purchases in my riding group, nobody buys at retail. The prices are attractive with things being on sale, and I think people will get used to it. So this is kind of a market correction that is happening. It is painful, but I think it's a much needed refresher in this industry. There's many reasons why the mountain bike is so expensive, and hopefully we have a glimmer of hope that this will come down with a market correction to more realistic levels so more people can enjoy the sport and we can have more bikes. All right, thanks a ton. Please let me know in the comments what you think of these thoughts. Thank you.